Hello, algebra students. Mr. Lawrence here, and here's your video based on statistics. We're going to talk about boxing whiskers, histograms, stem and leaf plots, mean, median, mode, all that fun stuff. This should be review from last year, but it is on your algebra final, so let's talk about it, okay? First of all, we're just going to define some things. Mean is the average, right? The average. And to find the mean, you add all the numbers, right? And then you divide by the total amount of numbers. Not their sum, but the total amount. So for example, if in a basketball game somebody scored 5 points, okay, 6 points, 7 points, 10 points, and let me see, where am I at here? Let me choose, and 2 points. Well, there's 5 games worth of points there. I would add them all up and divide by 5. If I do this really quick, 11, 9 is 20 is 30. It looks like they're averaging 6 points a game. You can verify that. Add those all up and then divide by 5. Okay, now by the way, if you do it in the calculator, you're going to want to do it in 2 steps. You're either going to want to put this in parentheses to divide by 5 or get the numerator, hit equals, and then divide by 5. Because if you don't, if you do this in your calculator, and a lot of you do this, if you type this, order of operations, it's going to do this division and then add that number to everything else, and you're not going to get 6. So this would be the incorrect way to do it. Put parentheses around your numerator, or simplify your numerator all the way down to a whole number and then divide by 5. Okay, the median is the middle number. The middle number, sorry. Okay, you have to list the data from least to greatest, and then you can find the middle number. The mode is the number that appears most often. And a set of data can have more than one mode. Number that appears most often. Okay. Now the range is the difference, and difference means subtract, right? Difference from the least to the greatest. So you subtract the least from the greatest, and that tells you your range. Greased. Sorry, I'm trying to hurry this. It's getting late in the day, and I've got so much more to do. All right, so let's go on, and I'm going to use those terms in a minute, but let's make a stem and leaf plot. Right here I have the heights of some of the tallest trees in the U.S. Okay, when I go to make my stem and leaf plot, I notice all the numbers are some type of 10. Like this is 4 tens and 7 ones, right? This is in the 40s. There are no numbers in the hundreds. So I'm going to list them as the tens, and then the ones, and then I'm going to list them from least to greatest. Okay, so make my little table here. Now, what's the smallest number of tens that I have? Well, the smallest number of tens looks like I'm in the what? Sorry, I'm double checking something here really quick. Is in the 30s, isn't it? Let's see, I've got this one in the 30s, and I've got this one in the 30s. So I have a 30 and a 5, and then I also have a 38, 35, and 38, and I've just taken care of 2 trees. See how I do that? Okay, now the next number of tens is 40s. Well, let's see, I have a 40 on the nose. Okay, do I have any other 40s? Yep, I got another one right there. I'm going to list both zeros. Got a third one right there. List a third zero. 44, 42, I think would be the next one. I'm doing them sequentially. See that? And then a 44. Okay. A 47. And then a 48. Right? Okay. So, is that right? Let's count them up. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trees in the 40s. And look, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have a 40, another 40, a 40, a 42, a 44, a 47, and a 48. Okay, now in the 50s, it looks like there's 2 of them. So I'll have a 55 and a 58. Again, that's kind of ironic, but That's okay. All right, now in the 60s, are there any's in the 60s? There sure are. There's a 61. It looks like my smallest number is 60s. And a 63. Should mark those. Okay. The 67. And that's it for the 60s. Now 70s. None there. There's a 77. And a 74. So I have a 74 and a 77. Some in the 80s, I do. It looks like one is in the 80s and one is in the 90s. So we got an 84 and a 91. So I'm going to have an 84, and then I'm going to have a 91. Okay, so there we go. All right. So there's all my numbers, okay? There's my stem and leaf plot. Now the cool thing is I can figure out the mean, median, and mode right now. Now to do the mean, I'm not actually going to do it. I'll leave that up to you. You're going to add up all these numbers and divide by how many there are. Well, if you look up here in the table, if you look up here in the table, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 18 trees listed. So you'll add up all those numbers and divide by 18. That'll get you the mean. Now to get the median, because they're organized from least to greatest, there's 18 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. And watch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's 9 numbers below this red line and 9 numbers above. The first number below it is 48. The first number above it is 55. Since there's an even amount of numbers, the median is the average of these two. And I think 13, 6 and a half. Yeah, wait a minute. So, sorry, I lost my train of thought. To find the median, I can average those two numbers. And I believe that's going to get me 103. And if I take half of 103, I believe I'm going to get 51 and a half. So the median is going to be 51 and a half. Notice the median doesn't show up in the data. It doesn't have to. It's the average of the two middle numbers, or it's the one middle number. It's the number in the exact middle of all my data. Now, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and actually find the mean. It's going to take me a minute here. But there's a reason I'm going to do it, because there's something else I want to talk about. Hopefully I don't make a mistake, because if I do, that will screw up my data. I'm going to try to do my best. 63 plus 67, going as fast as I can. 74 plus 77 plus 84 plus 91. All right, so when I add them up, I get 1,004, and I'm going to divide by 13, and it looks like my median is 77, and about 2/10. Okay, now the mode. The mode is the number that shows up most often. Well, look, I've got 40 showing up 3 times. My mode is 40. Okay, now the range is going to be from 35 to 91, right? From 35 to 91. Okay, 35 to 91. Okay, and if I subtract that, I get 656 meters. Okay, now which one of these three, mean, median, or mode, best represents this data? Well, it's probably not the mean, because the mean is way up here at 77.2. That's bigger than, oh my gosh, way over 75% of the trees. So I would not choose the mean to represent this data. The mode's kind of low. Even though it shows up most often, it's 40. In this particular case, I wouldn't choose the mode. I would choose the median at 51 and a half, because it minimizes the distance. There's an equal number of trees below it and above it. Many of the trees are right around it. Look at how many trees are within 12 meters of it. All these trees right here. Okay. Oh, even these are within 12 if I go up, right? Even this one here. Okay, this one's only, yeah, this one too. So the vast majority of the trees are represented by better by the median in this case. Kids always run to average on a question like that. No. And they say, oh, it's the mean because it's the average. No, you got to look at the numbers and see what they actually are. Okay, let's see here. Now we've got box and whisker plots. Now to do a box and whisker plot, this is simple. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to list the numbers from order, least to greatest. So let's see, I got a 13. These are just some random scores on a test you took recently. It was out of 27. Some people got extra credit. Okay, so I think 21 is next. It's going to show up twice, right? 21. Okay, 22. 24. 25. 27. 27. And 28. Okay. Now, to make my box and whisker plot, this is simple. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the median of this data. I'm going to cut the data in half. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So the middle number is going to be the sixth number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my middle number, my median here, my median is 22. I didn't have to average because it's sitting right there at 22. Now, I'm going to find the median of the first half of the data. And the question is, do I count the 22 in the answer, or do I not count the 22 in the answer? Well, let's see here. Yes, I'm actually going to count it. Sorry about that. I'm very distracted. I'm so worried about getting done and getting everything I need to do. I've got so much to do. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers in the first half of the data. So the first quartile is going to be here. Okay, well, what's the median of that? What's the mean of those two numbers? That's 20. Okay, so my first quartile, this is the median, my first quartile is 20. Now looking over here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so the middle number is here. And so there's 26. Now, I'm going to make my box. The only thing I'm going to do is, you see this middle segment is 25. My median is still 25. But since it goes from 20 to 26, 25 is way closer to 26, I'm going to move it over there. Okay? So there's my median. Okay, this 26 is my third quartile. Okay, and then we're going to go out to 28. And then we're going to go down to 13. All right, there is my whiskers. In fact, this whisker should probably be a little shorter because I'm only going to 28. This 28 is called the upper extreme, or it's also a max value. Okay, the lower extreme, or the minimum value, is 13, right? Okay, now the cool thing is, this data is broken into quartiles, meaning fourths. If you look, 25% of the data falls here. Another 25% falls here. A third 25% is here. And then a final 25% is here. Okay, so it's broken up this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what? I made a silly mistake here. That median is 22. Silly me. I'm so sorry. No wonder that didn't look right. Let me fix this really quick. So the 22 is actually going to be closer to the 20, so I'm going to move it down here. And there's going to be the median. Oop. And that's what, 22. Okay, close my box. And then that means that this section here is 25%. That looks a lot better, okay? 25% of the numbers fall from 20 to 22, right? Okay, much better. So, That is a box and whisker plot. Okay? All right. Now, let me see. Is there something else I need to do? Okay. Um, yeah, let's just go on to histograms. Now, I did those in class for people. Here's a survey John took about the number of pages of books people read. I'm going to make a histogram here, but I've got to decide my range or my intervals. So I'm looking, and I think I might make my first range, say 0 to 99 pages. Okay? And then my next one will be from 100 to 199. Remember, my intervals have to be the same size. Okay, then I'm going to go from 200 to 299. Then I'm going to go from 300 to 399. Ooh, I'm going to have to go really high up. Oh no, yeah, there's a 600 out there. Okay, and then I'm going to go from 400 to 499. I'm going to go 500 to 599. And you know, part of me wants to just say, oh, it doesn't matter. But yeah, it does matter. My interval has to be the same size. Move that over. Move these over. Okay. So, then we're going to go 600 to 699. Okay, now all my intervals are accounted for. And so, this is going to be, oops, I'm not sure why I did that as a broken line segment. Excuse me, let me fix that. Okay, properties. We'll make them solid. We'll take the arrowhead off. There we go. And then I'm going to count up. Man, I'm just doing that all the time here. Sorry. Okay, properties. There we go. And let's see, I am counting up. How many do I have from 0 to 99? Well, maybe I should make a little tally chart here, you know. Okay, this is the number of pages. But I'm going to make a little tally chart, which is separate from my box and whisker plot. And it's going to help me organize my data. 100 to 199, 200 to 299, 300 to 399, 400 to 499, 500 to 599, and then finally 600 to 699. Okay, now I'm only doing this so I know how many are going to go in each category. Okay, so I know up here I only have one. Okay, and I also think that in the 4 and 500 range I have 0. So I'm going to just put marks there. Okay, 300, looks like I have 1, 2, 2 in the 300 page range. Okay, in the 200 page range I've got 1, 2, 3. Am I missing any? I should get rid of that one. So I've got 1, 2, 3. In the 100 page range I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, and then below 100, so there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So the max number of tallies I have is 5, so that helps me on my y-axis. So I think I can count by ones. I'm going to go, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right. So now I'm ready to do my the boxes. From 0 to 99, I believe it was 4, so I'm going to go like this. Okay. Now from 100 to 199, I'm going to have 5. And so my box is going to look, my bar is going to look very much like this. Now, I kind of goofed a little bit there. The bar should really be the same size. I'm going to let that one slide because all the rest I spaced out well enough. This one should really be slid over. But you're going to see the other ones are going to match very well. Okay, 200 to 299, there was 3. And so I'm going to go from here like this. 300 to 399, there's only 2. Okay, so something like that. There are none in the 400 to 499. And then in the 600 to 699, There's only one, so we're going to get something like that. And there is your histogram. Okay, so hopefully that brings back some memories. That's from last year. And I'm going to end this video now. Mr. Lawrence signing off. Have a good night, everybody.